Are we ready?
Ready?
All right, obviously we got a good challenge with Akron. Coach Moorhead's one of the best offensive minds in the country. The quarterback's an NC State transfer that some of our guys on our staff actually coach, so they know how talented he is. Tailback's a really good player, had 160-some yards against Central Michigan. Their O-line does a nice job. A heavy RPO offense, talented on offense. They got some receivers that can run down the field. One of them's averaging 15 yards a catch. Their leading receiver. Defensively, they play a lot of fronts. They play four down. They play odd. They play bear. Their front seven does a real nice job fitting the run. Both their corners are over 6'2", so it'll be a size issue for us. You know, they do a nice job of using their length and running to the football, and the safeties are involved in the run game, kind of like ours are. They'll cover, but they also will come down in and fit the run and make tackles.
I know you expressed on coaching on Saturday. I guess what was the first thing you wanted to address with the coaches here?
Well, whatever's on the film is a reflection of me and our staff, and that's how we approach it. And we approach that anytime any one of our guys makes a mistake, it's on the coaches, not the players. So it starts with us. So we're back to work for Akron right now.
To you, looking on the film on Sunday, what would you say maybe the biggest issue was that you saw on Saturday?
It starts with us as a staff and putting our guys in the best position to go execute, and that starts with the game plan. That starts with how we practice. That starts with how we teach, how we adjust. So obviously, when you go out and don't play very well, the first thing we got to look at is look in the mirror what we could have done better as coaches.
How have you felt kind of the team, the players, the staff respond to what was obviously a brutal game?
They were good on Sunday. Every Sunday should be the same here, whether we win or lose. And they were great on Sunday. I've seen a lot of them are in the building already today. They're ready to go for this week.
Obviously, you got homecoming here coming up. Do you have any homecoming plans for maybe alumni coming back or anything with the players?
This is actually challenging for our older players. It's something I talked to the team about and we'll address tomorrow. But homecoming's for everybody else but us. Especially some of these guys have alumni that are coming back that they played with. You know what I mean? And then it's great when the old players come back with their wives and kids. And homecoming is for all of our players when they graduate to bring back their families and enjoy it. But for us, we got to prepare like every other game.
What kind of is the main thing that you want to emphasize with the team going into the Akron game?
Well, Akron presents a lot of problems defensively because of all the stuff they do. So we're going to have to be sound in our blocking schemes and our protection. And then offensively, they're a really heavy RPO offense. So you can't just have bad eyes. You can't not do your job. You can't not be focused on what you have to do because the quarterback can pull the ball out at any time and throw it. So every play, not every play, but almost every play for them is a run as well as having routes tagged onto it. So we have to have really good eye discipline and be real disciplined in our fits in the run game, but our secondary's got to make sure they're covering the guys they're supposed to cover.
Do you have a message to the fans before homecoming that get them to come out?
Come on out to the game. It's supposed to be great weather, and we can use everybody out there to help us. And homecoming is always great for the university to get everybody back. You know what I mean? And not just for the student-athlete alumni, but all the alumni that come back. So I'm excited to have some good weather on Saturday, it looks like, and go play a good MAC football game.
I know the offense struggled on Saturday. What are some things you noticed that you'd like to maybe improve on for this next
We got to improve on everything. We got to get better as a team.
Good for me.
All right.
Appreciate it, Mike.
Thanks, Coach.
No problem.
Hey, Joey, how's it going?
Good, how are you guys?
Doing good. Obviously, a really tough loss last Saturday. How have you and the team kind of responded to that so far?
Yeah, really, looked at the film on Sunday, learned from our mistakes, and, Coach Hughes just preached it, just go 1-0, focus on the next game on hand, and, we can't do about the past, so you can only learn from it and move on and, just try and get better day in and day out.
Looking at the game film from Sunday, what did you see from the defense that maybe you want to clean up for Akron?
Communication, that was one thing that was kind of stood out, and I take full responsibility for that. Some guys didn't get the call or were confused, and being the leader of the defense, I take full responsibility, and I need to be better on that. Making sure everybody's lined up where they need to be, this and that, and then just playing as a whole unit. Just guys flying to the ball and just finishing a whole game. Whatever happens, and we just need to play. Keep playing physical no matter what until the whistle blows, but we'll get it fixed. And I'm very confident that we'll get everything right going into this week.
To follow up on that, how, as a captain, I've never been a captain of a football team, but how do you go about doing that and making sure guys are, I guess, better at some of the things you want to see cleaned up?
It just happens in practice, on the Tuesday, Wednesdays practices. Making sure guys are focused on the little details right away, and something's not right, correcting it right there. Not waiting till a Thursday or Friday to kind of get it corrected, or we letting it, kind of drag on, getting it corrected then and there, and so we don't have the same problem, and then we can keep working on more plays and this and that throughout the week, and be better prepared instead of focusing on plays that we should be past already.
Now we're about to talk about moving on from week to week. Do you think it's easier or harder post loss or post win?
I think they're about the same either way, because even with the win, you still everybody messes up. You still learn from mistakes that you made, and you still didn't play the best game even if you won. But it's really just how we respond to it during the week, and just go 1-0. No matter the win or a loss, you can still learn no matter what.
You just said responding areas. How would you like to see this team respond after last week?
Just play as one whole Ball State football team, one unit, knowing all three phases of the game: offense, defense, special teams. Everybody can do better, on their respective sides of the ball. Defense can get stops for the offense, and special teams get a better field position. Offense can do this and that. But just playing a whole complete game. I don't think we've done that yet. Even though beating Ohio, we still didn't play a complete game on defense. Started off slow in the first half, and if you want to win these MAC games, these fourth quarter battles, we need to start out fast, and we can't let it dwindle and kind of lag on.
Coach, you just said that it ultimately falls back on the coaches when a loss like that happens. How have you seen them kind of respond to that loss as a first year unit?
Really, they said, like there were some things that they wish, if they would have had back, they would have done this and that differently. But also too, we're the people playing, so whatever call they call, we're going to play and we're going to execute it the best that we can. It's a two-way street. They don't need to take all the blame for it, because players also mess up, and if everybody's, like I always said, if everybody's always wrong, we're all right together. So it's a two-way street, and everybody has full faith in our coaches, and whatever they call, we're gonna run through a brick wall for them. So it's everybody's on the same page, and it's not like we put blame on this certain person or this certain coach, this and that. It's a whole Ball State football unit.
Yeah, the defense has kind of struggled to contain running quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
I think Navarro and Lowry both had 100-plus rushing yards. So how big of a point of emphasis is that for you guys going forward?
It's really just guys doing their job and, executing the call that's called. 10 people get it, and the 11th person might not, maybe understand or might not have heard it, this and that. And so really just making sure everyone knows what they're doing, and focus on the little details, taking their right proper step, not going upfield too far, this and that. It's there. We just got to go execute it and just play the Ball State football defense way and just go do it.
We talked to Mike about homecoming. Like I said, a lot of players coming back with their families and stuff. I guess, what's this week like for you, where you do see some of those former players that play here, but you also have a game on Saturday?
It's good. I obviously playing with those guys, they're still my brothers, and we'll go through a brick wall for them. But I kind of tell everybody, it's good to see all the events and all the support that we're getting. Very blessed and thankful for that. But once that ball's kicked and once the whistle's blown, we gotta kind of shrink our head back into just playing football. It's still a game. We still have to go out there and win the game. Those guys had their chance, and we're playing for them to keep on the Ball State legacy, and obviously give them a win and give them a show. We don't want to lose at the shoe, and that's it can't happen. It's unacceptable. It's what we strive for every day and every week, and just be 1-0 in the shoe, and each week. Good. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah.
Jeff, but
Oh, what
Kyle,
up?
how we doing?
I'm good.
Really good.
I guess to start, obviously a really tough outing, especially for the offense on Saturday. How have you felt the guys kind of respond to that so far and attack this week?
I think everybody was just upset, frustrated. No matter what position it was, everybody just, want to be better. So you can feel that. I guess it starts tomorrow, so we'll see how practice goes tomorrow. And, I think we'll bounce back good, though.
I guess in looking at some of that film from Western, what are some of the things you noticed about the offense that you'd like to pick up on for next weekend?
We just got to be more physical. I feel like at times we just getting pumped out there and, really just taking it. There's no fight back. So we just got to, be the aggressors, fight back and really fight first. Stop waiting to get punched in the mouth or waiting on somebody to say something to, do your job. So, yeah.
I kind of asked Joey about it being a captain of the defense, but as quarterback, you're kind of captain of the offense. How do you go about being a captain after a game like that and motivating guys to keep going?
I think the biggest thing is looking in the mirror. It starts up top, I'll say, and the team goes as the people up top will go. So just looking in the mirror and seeing what we can do better, and finding different ways to approach the team, because whatever ways we were using before isn't working clearly. So just regrouping and, really just moving on and trying to get better from it.
Yeah, the last week against Ohio, obviously, you took no sacks. Different story against Western Michigan with 5 sacks. Do you feel like it was something they were doing up front that kind of frustrated you guys, or was the protection not where it needed to be, or what kind of went wrong with the sack numbers?
A mix of things. Like, it's not every sack on the football field is on the O-line. That's basically what I want to get at. Is like, at times they're doing their job and they're bringing more than we can block. So we got hot answers for that. But if we're not connecting on those, then that's a sack right there. That's not technically on the O-line. Like, just stuff like that. Like, I think we just can't panic. It was horrible from everybody. There's no one person to blame. But the good thing is we can fix it. Like, everything we seen on the film was fixable. So, like, we just got to go out and do it.
What are some of the things you've seen in Akron's defense, and kind of what do you expect them to bring on Saturday?
They're hungry, kind of like us in a sense. Like, they don't get the respect that I think they should get. So you can see on film that they play with that chip on their shoulder. And, it's a great defense. And, we got to play to our rules and, execute to be able to, win this game.
Yeah, you talked about playing with the chip on your shoulder, and obviously this team did that really well against Ohio. Do you feel like that kind of was still true against Western Michigan, or do you think guys kind of maybe, especially once the game got out of hand, maybe kind of lost that edge a little bit?
Yeah, I think you play with that chip on your shoulder. I think Saturday we just flat out got beat. Like, it was clear. So, like, I think we played with that chip on our shoulder, but, it just, we got beat. I won't say they were a better team. They just played better and, just wanted it more.
Coach, you talked about when it comes to a game like that, it's on the coaches. Ultimately, that's who it starts with. To you, how has the staff handled that loss?
I think they've all been very accountable, but how I view it as, they can only do so much. We're the ones going out there and executing. So, like, yeah, they can say it's their fault. Yeah, it could be better coaching, if you say, but at the end of the day, no matter what you call, if everybody goes out there and do the right thing, that play could score. So it really shouldn't matter, as long as they're putting us in position to win games, we should go out there and execute and win them.
All right, awesome.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle.